Hey guys, Wolvie here. This is going to be a video on RWBY and for the 2nd of June 2020. I will not be posting this video until tomorrow for personal reasons. So with that, I do want to give out two particular warnings. First and foremost, this will be my opinion only. That being that I could get some stuff wrong for all I know. And with that out of the way, I will be having spoilers in varying aspects from Volume 1 all the way up to Volume 7, Chapter 13. So I'm going to take a drink of water before I get back into this, so I'll be right back. I am back, so like I said, we're just jump straight into it. So we're going to go into one of the bigger cliffhangers, and that's from the very end of Volume 7. So I'm just going to get as close as I can. I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to try to reenact, if you will, an image I noticed on both Tumblr and Twitter. And we're just going to follow the train of line where my fingernail is. So there's a bit of a line right around here. So it goes through a little bit of the W, and it goes through some of the B. Now, regarding the cliffhanger, or one of the cliffhangers, is that Team RWBY and the others in the plane, which include Penny, Pietro, Maria, Pietro, Maria, Penny, Jean, Nora, and Ren, they're trying to escape Atlas. However, I do feel that something's going to happen to the ship they're on, and Blake and Weiss are going to get the worst of the injuries between everybody. And this also means, in my opinion, that Blake and Weiss are going to be separated from everybody else as a result. And in the aftermath of that, I do feel that Blake and Weiss, while trying to find the rest of their team and their friends, there's going to be more secrets coming out about each other. And one of those secrets is the reason why Wes set Blake and Adam free. And this goes into not only the first trailer for Blake prior to Volume 1, but Volume 1, Chapter 15, where Weiss reveals about the train that left Atlas, and the particular train had dust cargo, which is something that Blake was shocked to figure out because they thought they were, no one saw them, and turns out Weiss was the one that saw them. So I won't be surprised if Blake asks Weiss, while they're separated from everybody else, why did Weiss set them free? So I do think there's going to be a bit of focus there. Blake and Weiss, certain things about Weiss's past, how she turned out to be a much more different person than Jacques is. So that's one of the cliffhangers, good thing I got that out, knocked it out right away, got quick to the point. So another cliffhanger I wanted to go into is Winter Schnee herself. So Winter, we do know that she is badly hurt from the battle against Cinder, where Penny helped. We do know that Penny has the Winter Maiden powers. My only question is that regarding Winter, and this is some people are thinking about this, will she live or will she die? Now, I'm going to go into the two scenarios in equal fairness, so that way I can figure out and hopefully predict what's going to happen. Now, the first path they could take with Winter is that she falls to her injuries, she dies. Now, this will affect Weiss in a way where we're going to be seeing a different side of Weiss altogether. And this could change things with the team dynamic overall. With that being said, this also will affect Ironwood in a negative way. Because now that everybody that's considered high ranked is dead and close to him, being Clover and now Winter, what will Ironwood do next? And will what Ironwood does next cost him his life? So that's just one path. Winter dies to her injuries, but Ironwood's reputation gets completely tarnished in the end as well. And speaking of Ironwood, he's going to be a complete section all to himself. But that's going to be later on in this video. Now, with Ironwood, let me rephrase it. So we're going to go into the other path here. So Winter somehow survives. However, the price here is that Ironwood will be dead. And as a result of Ironwood's death, for whatever reason, Winter takes on 2 of the 3 titles that Ironwood once held. The first one being the new headmistress of Atlas Academy. The second she takes over is that she's the new head of the Elysian military. Now, the third title that Winter will not want to take on is Ironwood's old seat on the council, and allows it to go to somebody else. Now, the whole thing here is that we do know that Jacques, his seat's probably going to be opened up once again due to the nature of Volume 7, where Weiss had him placed under arrest for what Jacques got himself into. So, with that, what's the path I'm thinking they're going to take with Winter? I'm going to say that they're going to have her survive the ordeal, and Winter takes over the head of the Elysian military, as well as the Atlas Academy, but not the council, which leaves 2 seats open up for grabs. So now with Winter, now we're going to go into Oscar. Now, the whole thing with Oscar, we do see him able to grab the weapon that he was given, but what about his semblance? He somehow survived that type of fall. We've seen Watts somehow surviving as well. Now, what comes of Oscar's semblance? Now, I do feel with Oscar and his semblance, it being revealed, I do feel it's going to involve time. And the whole thing with this is going to change quite a few things in sense of the events. Will it be time travel? Will it be slowing things down? We don't know yet. I do feel that Oscar's semblance will involve time. And in some cases, possibly time travel. Or, I think it's that Kaido Dan may have mentioned, I don't know who said this, but I know somebody mentioned it, something about sealing things. So we just don't know what Oscar's semblance is going to be just yet. I do feel it's going to involve time. And the reason why I feel it's going to involve time is because towards the end of Volume 6, he was able to get the ship that they were able to get into Atlas with. He managed to get that under control with Aspen's help. And I do think that because of the whole thing with time, I think it's going to involve. That's basically why I think it's going to involve time. Now, regarding the whole thing with Jacques, I do feel that he's going to be dead in Volume 8. And it's either going to be in jail or he somehow breaks out, but he gets killed by Grim. Now, with Crow, we do know that Crow is in jail with Robin. Now, and this is going to go into the post-credit scene following Volume 5. I do feel that instead of Raven, it's going to be Crow that goes into Patch, gets to Tai Yang, and tells them that RWBY and Yang are both in trouble. So, I remember, the whole thing with the bird flying into Tai Yang's house back in the post-credit scene following Volume 5. I don't think it's going to be Raven anymore. I think it's going to be Crow. He uses his other aspect of his abilities. He somehow escapes, gets to Patch, warns Tai Yang of what's going on in Atlas. And the reason why that is that we don't know where Raven is. However, I still will have the possibility that Raven is the one that goes to Ty's home and lets him know what's going on somehow. So with that, the whole thing with Crow, he may be the one that goes to Tai and lets him know what's going on with RWBY and Yang, and by extension, Weiss and Blake. Or something happens to Crow, Raven finds out, and Raven goes to Patch and let Tai know what's exactly going on, because we do know that with Raven is that her semblance is evolved to Portal. She can get to certain people with whom she has a bond with. So I do feel it could be Crow, it could be still be Raven, we don't know. But I do know that the post-credit scene from following Volume 5, that's going to show up in a very big way in Volume 8. Now, we're going to go into Weiss and then a little bit later, Aesop's. Now, Weiss, she's going to have a lot of knowledge, and that's going to become front and center in Volume 8. The stuff that she knew is going to come to light and cause varying things to happen. So, with the, I'm going to take a pause here so that way I can collect my thoughts here. As I was saying, Weiss's knowledge of varying things is going to affect a lot of people. Now, she knew of Ironwood's plan to, quote-unquote, alienate Atlas from the rest of the world. This is going to bite Ironwood in the ass. The reason why that is that we know that Cinder, Tyrion, Watts, and Neo managed to get into Atlas without an issue. But it came at the price of the Elysian military assuming that Team RWBY and the others in that ship were hostile. And the reason why this is going to bite General Ironwood in the ass is because he exercised extremely poor judgment of character. And again, this is going to be one of those items where this hurts Ironwood greatly. What Weiss also knows, and this is via RWBY, that Beacon's relic is still safe. And knowing that Beacon's relic is still safe, things are not too bad, but they're bad enough. And again, this hurts Ironwood. Because, again, using poor judgment of character. Now, another thing that I want to bring up here is Aesop's. Now, the whole thing with Aesop's, will they turn their backs on Ironwood? Well, depending on what information they find out from Weiss, this could be another turning point where Weiss tells Aesop's what she knows. And depending on the information, this could see Aesop's turning their backs on Ironwood. And this could be leading to events where we see the fall and death of General Ironwood. Now, I'm kind of trying to do this into as smooth a transition as possible. So, with Ironwood, like I said, this is the section just for him. Now, with Ironwood back in late Volume 4, he mentioned about his decision into sealing Atlas to where nobody goes in or out. And the reason why this is going to hurt him really bad is because was the council notified? If they were not, and remember, Weiss knew about this. This could be one of the items where Ironwood gets to be put on trial for. And that being because he did things behind the council's back. And this is not making him look good at all. Now, that's one part. So the whole thing with Tyrion, Cinder, Watts, and Neo, those four, they were able to get in without any issues. This is going to put Ironwood's character into question alongside poor judgment. The fact that he's making these really poor decisions It's going to be a reason why he gets off the council. And the whole thing with Blake and Yang and them doing what they did to Adam in Volume 6, but also adding Ruby, Weiss, Jean, Nora, Crow, and Oscar to the whole wanted poster. This is going to hurt Ironwood even more. And the whole thing with Adam, his fate is going to be properly revealed in Volume 8. By then they found his body. But the question is, will he come back alive? And the reason why I say this now in relation to Ironwood is because during the last episode of RWBY Rewind on YouTube, somebody suggested that Adam does come back, but as somebody without any of his memories. Now, I won't be surprised if Ironwood used Adam, what happened to Adam, as a leverage tool against Team RWBY. And by the fact that the whole thing with Adam, it's like, this makes things a lot worse for Ironwood. And Weiss's knowledge from Volume 1 that she knew that Blake and Adam took some dust cargo from Atlas, this kind of puts things in a bad light for Ironwood because of who he is, the decisions he's been making. Now, this could probably be the only way that Weiss gets a quote-unquote pardon. Is if Ironwood dies, Winter becomes the new head of the Elysian military, the new headmistress of the Atlas Academy. So this is the only way I'm going to see certain things going on the up and up for Team RWBY, more specifically Weiss, is if Ironwood dies. Now, with that, when it comes to other possible deaths for Volume 8, I won't be surprised if Maria dies. Because, and more so from old age, that sort of thing. Now, regarding the whole thing with the ideology behind Thor, the Norse god of thunder, I probably will be seeing Nora and or Ren dying in Volume 8 because the whole thing, idea behind Thor's death, he gets a fatal strike by a snake, although there's a major victory. So it's a major victory at a great price. So I do see one of them dying. We don't know yet. Now with Weiss, this is a bit of a full circle in a sense. Weiss's trial by fire. Now we do know that Volume 6, RWBY had her trial of fire with that gigantic grim. And how it was able to help Cordovan kill it. Now with Weiss's trial by fire, it's going to go into one of two options. Either the Sheet Dust Company or Winter. I'm going to go into this equally so that way where the possibilities lie in, if you will. So possibility number 1, the Sheet Dust Company. Now, at the beginning of RWBY, Weiss was the current heiress. And at this point in Volume 8, now that we know that Jacques Schnee is in prison, Whitley is the current heir. Will something happen to where Weiss is going to choose between her team, who she considers as her family, or the Sheet Dust Company? So, if that's were to happen, and Weiss is given a very difficult decision, she's probably going to make a very heartbreaking one, choose who she considers her family, Team RWBY, over the Sheet Dust Company, allow Whitley to run it. And that's because Whitley is the heir, and Weiss wants to respect that. Although this could tarnish her grandfather's name. Now, option 2 is going to involve Winter. Now, Winter mentioned in Volume 7 that Weiss would be a good fit for the Elysian military. Now, we do know that Weiss wants nothing to do with the military. She just wants to be a huntress and use that to restore the Schnee name in a good light. So, We may see that as a possibility, provided that Winter survives. Or, if Winter does die, it opens up the door for Weiss to actually go into the Elysian military, but at the cost of leaving her team. So, where would Weiss's trial by fire go into? And I'm going to say the Schnee Dust Company because we do know that Weiss wants nothing to do with the Elysian military. She just doesn't want to become... She doesn't want to become like Ironwood, if you will, because there's a conversation where Winter was actually questioning Ironwood. So, there's a lot of suspicions on Ironwood. And for Weiss, her trial by fire is going to involve the Schnee Dust Company. She's going to abandon that and stick with her team because she feels that with Blake, Ruby, and Yang, that's where her true family is. And that leaves the door open for Winter to not only become the new head of the Elysian military, she also becomes the new headmistress of Atlas Academy. And it's pretty much a much better place in the end of it. Now, I'm going to end this video on the whole thing with Weiss, and more specifically, the possible direction she's going to have after the show is done, the aftermath. So, I do feel that with Weiss, the path I think she's going to take after RWBY's all done, the world is saved, and by the world remnant, I do feel she's going to go into a career involving politics and making things right for the Schnee family name on her own terms. Although she is a huntress, she's also going to use her knowledge as a huntress, her knowledge of Elysian law, and make things right in the realm of politics. She takes over one of the 2 seats that was left open and works with Robin Hill to make Atlas a much better place for all. And makes things far more fair for the Faunus, far more fair for the people in Mantle. So, like I said, this is my video on RWBY Volume 8, my predictions, all this stuff. I might do a follow-up. Actually, I would be doing a follow-up, but I need a trailer for it first to get into detail on that, and this is just a predictions where I could get things wrong at a drop of a hat. So to do as quick of a recap as I can on the predictions for Volume 8 as a whole, I do feel that at the start of Volume 8, Weiss and Blake are going to get injured kind of badly. They get separated from the remainder of the group. Another aspect is that I do feel Winter is going to survive. She's going to take over Atlas Academy as the new headmistress alongside her taking over the Elysian military, as she has a much cooler, calmer, more level-headed approach to things. Now, another thing is that Ironwood's going to die. And that's because some of his judgments, some of his decision-making is going to bite him in the ass. Weiss is going to play a role into it. Aesop is going to play a role into it. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but I do feel that Winter's questioning is going to come into light. There's going to be a lot more people against Ironwood than for. Now, Oscar, I do feel his semblance is going to be revealed. It's going to involve time. Now, with Haven's relic, and again, this is another thing I forgot to mention here, I do feel that Haven's relic is going to switch hands one more time. And somehow Team RWBY gets it back. Now, with that all out of the way, Weiss is going to have her trial by fire. It's going to involve the Schnee Dust Company, but she's going to turn the heiress title down and focus on her life as a huntress. And that's going to evolve her to where she eventually has a career in politics. She gets one of the open seats on the council, works with Robin and the Aftermath to make Alice and Remnant a much better place. So with that, I'm going to be gone for now with Wolvie here signing off. I will catch you all on the flip side.